facing out my living room window. And there it was, that same boring tree standing there in the front yard. Morning after morning, same couch, same window, and same boring tree. I needed to spruce up this tree, I thought. I told a couple friends of mine, I said, you know what? I'm going to build a house in that tree. And I'm not even going to ask my landlord. One of my friends replied, he said, Dave, there's no way that you can fit a house in that tree. Another friend replied, your landlord is going to kill you. And that was all the motivation I needed. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, I knew the perfect guy to build this treehouse. A friend of mine. He was a carpenter. He was out of work at the moment. And, most importantly, he owed me money. He had the time and the tools. And I had the leverage. I explained to him my vision to transform this massive maple tree into something usable, something memorable, something that would make all the little kids in the neighborhood run to their parents and say, "Aw, I want one of those." It's winter now, the treehouse is completed, and I'm moving in. I had just begun graduate school that year, and I needed a quiet place to do my homework. The actual house, just 18 feet away, did not offer that luxury at the time. But this is not a speech about my ex-girlfriend. The treehouse was equipped with a desk and a desktop, some bookshelves, and 2 of those dark red Oxford leather chairs like you would find in an Ivy League dean's office. The treehouse was carpeted, it was insulated, it had real shingles and gutters, it had 2 windows and 5 electrical outlets to power the surround sound stereo, the water cooler, and the lights. It was 70 square feet of detailed craftsmanship soaring in the air like the Giant's Castle and Jack and the Beanstalk. There was a fireman's pole to go down. Woo! There were multiple trampolines to go up. And even a zip line going across from the living room window of the actual house to the front porch of the treehouse. Now, I may not be the most mature millennial, but I did have liability insurance. It's summer 2015, and the treehouse transitioned from a study to a recording studio. I still needed a quiet place to do my homework. That former girlfriend I mentioned, she was upset with me. She said I spent more time in the treehouse than I did with her, which I couldn't argue with. She said she wanted to date a real adult, which I also couldn't argue with. She made me decide. It was either her or the treehouse. So she moved out. Now I could study in the actual house and leave the treehouse available for more important things. So the bookshelves were removed and a microphone was installed. And this is the moment Treehouse Records was founded. A good friend of mine goes by the name A. Jeezy. He made the beats. The rest of us, we wrote some rhymes. I go by the name Deesky. We had Skyward, Smoky Tones, Hostility, Tovez, and many other guest features. Another frequent guest to the treehouse was my friend Jack. Last name Daniels. There were many visits from my Irish friend named Jameson. You know, they say to not operate heavy machinery under the influence of alcohol, which is true. That is not advised. But I would add to that disclaimer and say, unless you have real musical talent, do not operate a microphone without the influence of alcohol. See, I'm not the only one here who's tried this. The treehouse was a place for us to be creative, to be clever wordsmiths. We would get together weekly, bounce ideas off each other, and record our songs. Our rhymes were a parody of hip-hop culture. We were National Lampoon compared to National Geographic. We recorded 3 full-length albums in a little over 2 years. And they're all for sale on iTunes. My landlord did eventually find out about this house that we built in his tree. He looked disappointed in me when he pulled in the driveway that day. I had that same sick feeling in my stomach, like when my parents found that report card I was hiding from them in 3rd grade. Only this time, I was almost 30. But nowhere in our lease did it say I couldn't build a tree house. But last year, when I moved out, he made me tear it down. And it was devastating. But although the treehouse is no longer standing, the music that we created inside of it will live on like a photo album of lyrics and drums and piano keys and bass and the occasional burp or sneeze that the microphone would pick up in the background. And we're still writing and recording together, but we had to change the name, of course. So now we go by Spare Bedroom Records. I learned something inside that treehouse. I learned that writing rhymes isn't so different from writing speeches. Inform, inspire, entertain, speak from the heart, and 100% of the time, it's going to be a little bit more valuable if you can make the audience laugh. Mr. Toastmaster.